And 3 years later, Uncle Sam came knocking at the airport with 7 windbreakers with the subpoenas that you're being investigated by a grand jury for tax crimes.
You made $9,000 last month. Why did you not cut a check for $1,342? IRS is not someone we f with.
All right, this one's going to be a fun one because we've talked about this topic in passing over several of my videos since I started, but now we're going to be taking a look at a video with people just not paying taxes, either trying to find all the tax loopholes that are in that kind of gray area, and then the amount of misinformation that's online is just unreal, or normal people who just decide not to pay and then they're shocked by the consequences. So I know that this is a pretty touchy subject. It's not like anybody on the face of the planet enjoys paying taxes, but it is one of the few things that you can't really avoid in life. I mean, there's only 2 guarantees in life, death and taxes, and when you have stories of people who are untouchable in their lives getting busted for tax evasion, like Al Capone is probably one of the most famous cases, it just goes to show that you will eventually get caught. So we got a lot of different clips to go over. A ton of, like I said, misinformation can be very dangerous to people if you take it to heart. So I will say right off the bat, just like every other YouTuber does, I'm not a financial advisor, so this is all entertainment or whatever they want to say, even though I'm not actually going to give you any advice other than to advise you to not listen to the other people's advice we're about to hear. So we're just going to get into it with a classic clip.
You made $9,000 last month. Why did you not cut a check for $1,342? IRS is not someone we f with.
Yep.
But you, okay, it was accepted, so you
the,
filed it. But why? Why have you not cut a check for this?
Because I owed my roommate about $1,000. I owed my parents $2,000.
Oh.
So they come first for the IRS. And then the IRS
Well, I don't know about that, to be honest. But
I got to keep my house in order.
The parents, they're paid off though, right? $2,000?
Parents are not paid off. The roommate's paid off.
$9,000 or what was it? $9,000 is a lot of money.
So right off the bat, we have somebody who's making good income, $9,000 a month. And his excuse to not pay the IRS the $1,300 that was owed is that he owed his roommate $1,000 and then his parents $2,000. But if you do the quick math there, you have a good amount left over. And then you find out a couple seconds later, he actually didn't even pay off his parents. I just don't understand why people don't take this more seriously. I mean, the comments here, I mean, no one should be paying taxes, but they'll get you if you don't. And I think that's kind of the verdict for most people. As I said before, who enjoys paying taxes? Clearly, nobody does. Especially if you live in the US in today's world with all the inefficiencies and the amount of debt. I mean, it's just going into payments of interest that don't even put a dent into the national debt. So it's basically useless. But at the same time, like the second half of this comment, if you don't do it, they're going to get you. Can your roommate or parents put you in jail? Because the IRS can. A very good deterrent to dodge paying taxes is a jail cell. Not really the place I want to be hanging out. I got to keep my house in order, and then the IRS is about to knock down his door. Don't mess with the IRS ever. And this is not a one-off case, especially on Caleb's show. Even some of the people who come on who make a decent amount of income, $9 grand a month, just won't be paying their taxes. This isn't super uncommon with his guests. So I mean, if we're seeing a lot in this show, how many people just aren't paying their taxes and facing the consequences? Here we could start off with the mass amount of misinformation with taxes. And if you don't do your research about what these people say and what they do, it could land you in a lot of hot water because rules change or they are just straight up lying for views.
All right, guys, we're going to talk about how you can legally avoid paying taxes like I did for my R33 Skyline GTR. Now, anyone can do this. It is not illegal. It's probably one of the quickest and easiest ways to go about it. You register in Montana. Now, I preface this, you will need an LLC. There are companies that will help you set that up in Montana, okay? Montana does not have sales tax for personal property, okay? If I had registered this car here in PA, I would have had to pay $7,000 roughly to register this motherfucker, all right? That don't sound good, do it? The reason that people register their exotics and supercars and all this other stuff in Montana is because of the tax. There is no sales tax on personal property. So you can legally avoid paying tax on your vehicle purchases and not have to worry about it.
So this has been something that was pretty common for quite a while. However, Over the past few years, I've started to see things change because as soon as there's a loophole, especially when you're buying supercars and very, very expensive cars that you could get taxed heavily on, and you have a loophole, the state or the government will eventually start patching it. So real quick, we can look at some of the comments and bounce back and forth. This is not legal, and when you get caught, you will be heavily fined. Also, you could void your insurance policy for this, and residency laws. Now, I swear that I remember watching a VinWiki YouTube video talking about this quite a long time ago. Now, I don't think that there's a law that's completely banning all of this. However, there's a whole bunch of different rules. You need an LLC, you need a residence to make it kind of look like you're in Montana, so you're already skirting the laws there if you don't actually live there. And I've also seen stories where there'll be very wealthy people with many supercars, you know, huge collection, and they all register in Montana to dodge taxes, and they have started to get heavily fined. Like, the state is actively looking for those people to fine and get their money back, basically. So, I mean, we could look online real quick, the potential cons to doing this. If you're a person registered a new car in the state where they don't primarily reside, it could be considered illegal or fraudulent. There you go. Potential higher insurance premiums. Insurance claims might be denied altogether. So if you crash your $200,000 car, there will be no insurance. So you trying to dodge the taxes of a very expensive car like that is the least of your worries when it gets totaled. Here's more eligibility requirements to form an LLC in Montana. Person typically needs a physical presence or an address in the state. I've seen people do PO boxes or like the post office at very, again, gray areas. And then the last one I think is the biggest one, which will probably happen if it hasn't already, because I'm not looking up the supercar loopholes in Montana. I don't think that's really going to be useful in my lifestyle anytime soon, but states may change their laws and regulations, including those related to LLCs and vehicle registration. So you could be doing all of this work and eventually it just completely gets patched and the loophole is gone. Here's another comment from this same video, even though it didn't really have anything talking about taxes, but Jersey is a no front plate now. So New Jersey is a no front state plate area now, which I think a good amount of places, North Carolina, you don't need it, but I'm from New Jersey. You do need a front plate. You need both front and back, and that's still the current law up to 2024. So again, just lies in the comment section along with the gray area, dangerous advice on the video altogether. So we have another one, classic on the channel, Grant Cardone, just spewing a whole bunch of crap.
Never show the IRS that I'm making any money.
Okay.
When you get your first job and you're making 200 grand, your goal is to get that 200 grand to 11,000 bucks.
How do you do that?
Your taxes on this is going to be 1,100.
Right.
I want to spend $189,000 on goods and services that could help me make more money next year, because I'm never paying the IRS. Let's say I made 200 grand and I could keep 189,000. I'm going to take that and go buy a $400,000 piece of real estate that'll give me $189,000 depreciation, and now I only pay taxes on 11,000.
So how do we get the money for the down payment?
You got a job with me, 200 grand a year. You're not going to spend any money on your lifestyle. You're going to park all that money into a real estate deal, and you're going to use it as a down payment to buy an income producing property.
The comments are great. I love it. Get an entry level job at 200,000 again, right off the bat. 189,000 depreciation will be audited right away. So much incorrect information to unpack. Another one, your first job making 200K a year. As if it's just that easy, folks. You don't need to eat or pay anything out of that 200,000. Okay, got it. Yeah. IRS entered the chat. Can't get a $400,000 loan showing $11,000 in tax returns. Lenders will turn you down. See, I am happy that at least the comment section, especially on Grant's videos, because of how crazy some of the stuff he says is, that they'll just completely shut it down and all the issues from the 30-second clip he uploaded, but he just wants those views. He wants a little viral clip. And this kind of stuff doesn't just stop at the normal everyday people. I think all of us have heard the amount of stories from celebrities or super wealthy people trying to dodge taxes. I think maybe just thinking that they're famous, that they're just above the law, but clearly it's just not the case.
Why is your brother indicted for your failure to pay taxes?
He was my business manager, and he was a part of my LLCs. And when they indicted us, it was just various crimes between both of us. At the end of the day, I didn't file in 2011. I had just made $5 million. It's Christmas dinner. Mom's got shrimp arragganata on the oven, and I got the Lamborghini outside, and my brother comes up to me and he's like, you know, you just made $5 million. It's time to file. And then I'm sitting there high on rocks. I was just GQ's sensation of the year. It was 2010. I'm all high on myself. And he hesitated. He's like, or we can get him next year. And I was like, We'll get them next year. And that's exactly how it happens. It's like a Martin Scorsese movie. It's like there's some humor in it or whatever. And 3 years later, Uncle Sam came knocking at the airport with 7 windbreakers with the subpoenas that you're being investigated by a grand jury for tax crimes.
So, I mean, I know when you're at that level and you're making $5 million in 1 year, the taxes are rough. You're losing like 40% of it. So having all of that money and seeing how much just vanishes instantly must be a really rough feeling. I'm not gonna lie. However, I would be much happier to make that $5 million and still be able to keep around 3, maybe even 2.5. Say somehow it's just 50%. Still a lot of money in my book. I mean, I'd be basically done. But I do think a lot of you have probably heard about the situation. I didn't even actually plan that. That just came straight out of my mouth. But with them being very famous from the Jersey Shore show and very popular, like you said, the GQ, he had a pretty rough fall from grace for a while and just not paying taxes for years. And like he said, it was 3 years later. So 1,000 days later, you think you're better. You beat the IRS. You're in the clear. And out of nowhere, he gets hit with all the crimes he committed. So maybe you do think you could dodge it, and years after, you're still in the clear, but you have no idea if they're really still building a case on you.
Okay, IRS, 2021, going all the way back to 2021. We're at the end of 2024 now. We're going back to the 2021, 23,000, 16,000 for 2020. No, we're going back to 2020. No, we're going back to 2019 of 22,051. How? How are we going back 5 years?
We've been paying, but we paid.
Wait, hold on. Did you pay 2022?
Did I pay 2020? No, I haven't filed 2022.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Does your tax person know that?
Yes.
And what do they say?
Because I didn't have one at the time. So
Huh? When did you get one?
Just recently.
And?
And they know that I need to file, so we're working on it.
Working on? What is working on it?
Getting all the documentation and everything together.
How are you going to file? How are you going to pay? What are you going to do?
I'm just going to file and have to wait to pay.
Are you on a payment plan?
I am. That's why 2018 was paid off. That's why
For f***'s sake, there was 2018?
Yeah.
Oh my good death. What is the interest rate on this?
I do not know.
It's usually
honestly.
quite
Without looking, I really don't know.
We're at $63,000 of unpaid taxes, but that's incorrect because you have 2 years, 2022, 2023, and we're going to have 2024 of unpaid taxes. It's probably going to be like 120 something thousand hours of unpaid taxes, which is insane. Is the IRS not looked at you for these last couple of years? Do you have no fear of an audit for the no file these last few years?
I don't have a fear of audit because I actually do keep my books fairly well. I just haven't paid them, but I do have accurate books and records. So I'm not worried about the audit, but I do worry about them, coming after me.
Yes,
but that's why we've been paying them.
But you haven't filed for
right. No, I know
2 years. So
I know
what?
I just don't get the thought process, man. It looked like it was spotty, but all the way back to 2018, what is it, 6 years? And it seemed like she wasn't even in a mess. She had her books in order. She just decided not to pay them. And now because of that, you're on a payment plan with most likely a pretty rough interest rate. And this could just turn into the crazy credit card debt that people never get out of, but it's because you didn't pay taxes. What? I'm kind of speechless on this one. We could look at some of the comments. Apparently, I didn't file for 17, 18, or 19. I just don't understand how you don't realize that you didn't file for 3 years and just got hit with all of it. It's way less than what she owes, and I feel like I lost 10 years of my life for it. So how much worse is it going to be for this guest? Like I said before, this could be you're paying it off forever. Don't die. My dad was 4 years behind when he died. It's been a nightmare dealing with the estate. It's been 2 years and still haven't settled the estate. I'm surprised that the government hasn't already just taken the property. So any of that stuff that you'd possibly be able to pass down to future generations would just be gone. It sounds like a good idea until they lien your home and any other property you own. There you go. Here's another one. Like I said, if the books are organized, why have the taxes not been filed? I don't get having everything squared away and knowing exactly what you owe and you just going, no, you know what, I'm just not going to do anything. The IRS is the one organization you don't want to hold money from. And I mean, I feel like I have to keep saying this over and over again as if like I love the IRS and love paying taxes. Of course I don't, but the consequences seem to outweigh paying your taxes. I don't know about you. I don't want to be in a jail cell anytime soon or have my wages garnished or they take a lien on your house. I mean, they could do crazy stuff to start getting their money back, ruining your life. I know, and probably all of you do as well, that paying your taxes is basically throwing money into a fire because we see what the government does with our tax money and just racking up the debt like it's a game trying to get a high score. But I still want to have a good, enjoyable life and hopefully last a pretty long time. And the added stress and possible really bad consequences of not paying your taxes doesn't really sound too good to me. If you are looking up stuff to reduce your taxes every year, please look online and do the research yourself. Don't look at a couple TikTok videos and just take it to heart and think that's 100% what you're allowed to do, because it could get you in a lot of trouble. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That's all I have for you guys today. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and I'll talk to you guys later.